Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kircha. Coming up in today's newscast, over 95% of the national election votes are counted, and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is celebrating.
We'll reveal how Blue and White's Benny Gantz is reacting to the left's dismal showing.
And we have the scoop on everything that you just have to do when you visit the Israeli city of Eilat. As we speak, the votes are still being counted following Israel's third national election yesterday in just the last 11 months. And so far, with 97% of votes counted, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's Likud party is in the lead with 29% of the vote.
Their main opposition, the Blue and White party, on the other hand, only has 26% of the vote.
ולבינתיים ניצחון לימין, וזה מה שאני רוצה וזה העיקר.
I was very disappointed about the result, but at least there is not another round.
Well, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is already celebrating a victory, although the vote count still isn't finished and the coalition is up in the air. The latest polls by Israel's Channel 12 News estimate that the right-wing bloc will win 59 seats, while the center-left Arab bloc will only win 54, meaning despite Likud's victory as the party with the most votes, Netanyahu still needs to pass the threshold of 61 seats to form a government coalition.
On the right, current polls show Likud securing 36 seats, the ultra-Orthodox Shas and UTJ parties get 10 and 7 respectively, and Yamina is taking home 6 seats. On the left, meanwhile, polls show Blue and White winning 32, the Joint Arab List coming in third, taking home 15 seats, and Labor Gesher Meretz winning 7. That leaves so-called kingmaker Avigdor Lieberman with 7 seats as well. That could make or break both coalition options.
Lieberman has refused to sit in a government with Netanyahu at this point, but Blue and White says they will not sit with the Joint Arab List, which means that even if Lieberman were to join forces with Blue and White, their left-center bloc just wouldn't be large enough to form a government.
Now, the Likud is celebrating after a whirlwind and surprisingly strong vote. With over 97% of the ballots now counted, the Likud under incumbent Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is commanding a strong lead with an estimated 36 Knesset seats, and the right is, of course, calling this a great victory, especially with a bloc that's likely to carry between 59 and 60 seats on its own.
ואיזה שמחה יש לנו הלילה.
Victory for Likud. It's a great victory for the state of Israel. We won. That's it.
So what's the next step for Prime Minister Netanyahu? Well, he will likely be chosen first by President Rivlin to try and form a coalition of 61 out of 120 Knesset seats. So he and his team have already reportedly begun reaching out to the other parties on the right. Netanyahu vows to put together a strong national government. Also, depending on the results of the military and foreign diplomat votes, the right-wing bloc could end up with at least 61 seats all on its own, meaning there would not necessarily be a reason to have to coax any Knesset members from across the aisle. In truth, the biggest obstacle that stands in the way now is the trial against Prime Minister Netanyahu, set to begin in just 2 weeks. And government watchdog groups are petitioning the High Court to prevent Netanyahu, who is charged with criminal offenses, from forming a government. The Likud, however, calls the petition disgraceful, while Netanyahu continues to deny any wrongdoing.
All right, now joining us with more on the 23rd Knesset election results, we have Israeli attorney and legal advisor to the Israeli Movement for Governability and Democracy, Simcha Rotman, and former Likud Knesset member and the president of the Likud Supreme Court, Michael Kleiner. All right, so I guess the first question is, did yesterday's results surprise you?
I have to say that I am happy that the outcome of the elections came out the way it came. And it surprised me that Netanyahu, although he has all these indictments and basically against all odds, got more power than he got in the last time. I think it's a major vote of inconfidence of the justice system. And I think that's the main thing that will go out of this election. I don't know if we will have an easy coalition. We are now talking about 59, 60, maybe 61, maybe. But I don't know if we will have easy coalition. But I am sure that when the chief legal advisor, the prosecutor, Avichai Mandelblit, says, you are in breach of trust of the public, that's the name of the offense, he says Netanyahu is blamed. How can you say that when he got even more votes than the last time? The public has trust in Netanyahu. It means something. It should mean something in a democratic country.
All right. Now, I'd like to kind of get your sense, your 2 cents as to how you think this is going to play out. Because obviously, Netanyahu, the Likud party, has not crossed the 61-seat threshold when it comes to forming a center bloc, a right-wing bloc. Who are they going to be turning to?
It is all about momentum. What I was surprised was by the size of the victory and not by the victory.
Okay.
And because of the momentum and because of it is now the third election and not the first one, though the results are very similar to those of April, this time it's very different. And I guess all the potential partners are not interested, and some of them are even afraid of a fourth election. So they will have a very strong incentive to go with Likud, especially there is no alternative. So the candidates are blue and white,
right.
Parts of blue and white, the Labour Party, parts of the Labour Party, or...
So you think that parts of the Labour Party could actually defect and end up joining a coalition?
The Labour Party is a coalition. They have only 7 members, but there are 4 parties.
Right.
Orly Levy is an independent party, Yair Golan is an independent party, Labour is an independent party, they have 2, I guess, and Meretz is independent. So everybody except of the 2 members of Meretz are candidates, and
right.
Provided it will be 59 or 60, if not 61, so I guess 1 or 2 will be enough. They are both candidates, and also Avigdor Lieberman who said no Netanyahu and no fourth election. Both cannot go together. He'll have to.
The question is whether or not he's actually willing to sit
have
with
to
Netanyahu.
decide, and he's very much afraid of a fourth election.
So that's actually my next question. Simcha, I want to turn to you for this one. What do you think is the most likely to occur in terms of these coalition talks? Do you think Netanyahu will find somebody, a partner in Lieberman, or will he find 2-3 random votes that he can grab from blue and white and Labour Meretz?
I think blue and white is the best candidate, because in blue and white there are some people. You need to talk about people, not parties. There are some people that if we go to a fourth election will probably find themselves outside of the Knesset. Orly Levy Abekassis, basically the daughter of one of the most important people in the Likud for many years, David Levy. So she knows her way back, I hope. Orly Levy Abekassis, if she's part now of Emet and Meretz, and we go to another election, she's out. She didn't give them anything. They just lost a place in the Knesset because of her. She doesn't have anything to gain from a fourth election. They say that Omer Yankelevich, a member of Knesset from Blue and White, also the same. Her part of the recordings that came the day before are connected to her. Yeah, so she also might find herself outside of the Knesset. But if she will,
blackmail is what I'm saying.
If she will defect from Blue and White and join the coalition, she will find herself a good spot. There are Tzvika Hauser and Hendel and Yoaz Hendel, also members of Blue and White. Their ideology is right-wing. They can find themselves easily back in the Likud.
Now, what about the concept, though, of a larger unity government between Blue and White and Likud? Is that completely dead? Is there any chance for that?
I think it can happen, and it means the end of Blue and White. Because the Blue and White sole policy and the sole thing the only thing they went to election about is we will not sit with Netanyahu. If they will join, they will be devastated. The election afterwards, it will be the end of Blue and White. I personally will not be sorry, but it will be the end of Blue and White.
The end of Blue and White will be also if they don't join the government, because if Labour Party will join the government and have positions and have ministers, they'll be able to draw back some of the voters, and Blue and White Blue and White has no common denominator except of being against Netanyahu. The moment they are in opposition, they will dismantle. They have no party, they have no institutions, they have no membership, they have no grassroots, and nothing keeps them together the moment they are not in the government. So I guess they will just evaporate.
So would Blue and White even be a strong opposition leader? Would Gantz be a strong opposition leader, or would he even be an opposition leader?
I guess they will have the same fate as Kadima. Also, Kadima had 27 seats, almost won the election with Tzipi Livni. And the moment they went to opposition, they evaporated. They got the next election 2 seats with Shaul Mofaz, who won against Tzipi Livni, if one remembers still.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for joining us with your 2 cents here. Of course, we still have another 3% of votes that need to be counted, so it's not over until it's over. But thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. The latest election results for the 23rd Knesset have not been as kind to the left as they'd hoped.
No, and that's right. With over 97% of the vote now counted, the Likud party's main rival, Blue and White, is now predicted to earn just 32 seats, and the feeling of disappointment is practically palpable in the party.
In his first reaction to the exit polls on Monday, Blue and White leader Benny Gantz is feeling the hit. Still, he says he'll continue to fight for our way and for us.
אני אומר לכם ביושר, אני מבין ושותף לתחושת האכזבה והכאב, כי זאת לא התוצאה שאולי היינו רוצים שתקרה.
Meanwhile, Gantz's partners are also expressing a bit of shock, but the feelings of hope are still in the air as they wait for the final results to bring some change.
We have to tell the truth. We're a little bit disappointed with the result. We hoped for a better resolution of the people, but it is still not final results, as we are still waiting for all the polls and for real-time results, and we'll see what happens.
So far, though, as the count comes in, the gap between the left and the right-wing blocs seem to be growing. As it stands, the right and religious parties are looking to get upwards of 59 to 60 Knesset seats, to the center-left's 38 to 39, and that includes the Labor Gesher Meretz party with 6 to 7 mandates.
As for the Israel Beiteinu party under Avigdor Lieberman, the so-called kingmaker will likely earn around 7 seats, but Lieberman has already vowed neither to sit with Netanyahu nor with the Arab Joint List, so what will he choose? Well, some believe that with 4th elections on the line, he may finally break with his ultimatums and side with the right. Now, the final votes that need tallying are primarily coming from foreign embassy workers abroad and voters in active military duty.
Yeah, but with 12 Israelis now confirmed to have coronavirus, the Elections Committee has also been dragging its feet in counting the ballots from those who are in quarantine.
Israeli leaders have all called on the 5,600 voters in home isolation to cast their ballots, and the voters did not disappoint. Over 4,000 of those Israelis, who could be carriers for the deadly coronavirus, still made their way to the 16 special polling stations across Israel, which were set up to accommodate their quarantines. But while this turnout is amazing, there's one big problem. Officials within the Central Elections Committee are afraid to come in contact with their ballot slips, and they're appealing to emergency services now to take responsibility for tallying these votes. Now, on a related note, while other parties had been urging voters to ignore their fears of the virus, one party is embracing these fears. In a real lemons to lemonade moment, the ultra-Orthodox Shas party decided to hand out anti-coronavirus candles and prayer charms at select polling stations. But following a petition filed by the Labor Party, the Central Elections Committee is now fining Shas 7,000 shekels, or a little over $2,000, over the charms. Among other things, election law expressly prohibits any solicitation to vote or abstain from voting with the use of gifts or promises of a blessing.
Yesterday wasn't just election day in Israel, it was also a day off for the Israeli public, and many took advantage to do some major spending. Joining us with the details is consumer behavior expert Vili Abraham. So, how much money did Israelis spend yesterday when they were just vacationing?
Lots of money. Just between 1 and 2 o'clock, there were 7,000 transactions a minute. So we're talking about over 400,000 transactions in just 1 hour. And from 9 to 4, there were about 2.4 million transactions. And all in all, we spent over 600 million shekels in just 1 day.
How does that compare to like a normal day out and about?
Well, if you compare it to the last round of elections, it's a 10% increase. So we seem to be spending more, but I think the reason is because Purim is just around the corner, so people took advantage of sales to shop for Purim, and also Passover is around the corner. There were major sales, so people were just going into stores and just grabbing
Wow,
everything.
I can't even imagine. We never
wouldn't
get
know.
to see
Yeah,
what it
we
looks
wouldn't know
like on
anyway.
the streets
We were
here.
here all day.
But I heard the traffic was crazy, so people were
Traffic
clearly
were crazy.
busy.
Yes, and restaurants and coffee shops and everywhere was really, really crazy.
So you're saying the
crowded.
majority of what they spent their money on was, I guess, food, going out to restaurants?
Food, electronics, clothing, and probably costumes for Purim.
And costumes for Purim. A great way to
Well,
spend your
speaking
money.
of money, the Israeli shekel has grown to become one of the strongest currencies in the world. Why is that the case?
Well, first of all, we have a relatively stable political system besides the last...
the current
I love how
situation,
that's
not included.
no comment.
Yeah, and inflation is within 1 to 3%, which is the target of the Bank of Israel. So all in all, we're very stable as far as political environment is concerned.
Interesting. And are we seeing well, I guess what I'd like to know is because of the fact that, we've had so many issues with the government within the last 11 months and the inability to shape a government, has the shekel been impacted in any way, or?
Not really, no, but
Okay.
it's
Stable
interesting.
even during this turmoil.
Yeah, it's more or less stable, and interestingly, today it has dropped somewhat. And I was just curious why that's so. Probably because investors were hoping that there would be a change in government, and when there wasn't no change, then the shekel fell because, they are expecting changes in the economic arena.
What about the coronavirus? Because obviously that's had a huge financial impact around the world, but what about Israel and the impact on the shekel more specifically?
All over the world, there was a serious impact of corona because there is a disruption in the supply chains, less people coming into the country, less people exiting or going outside of the country to visit. So there's a global impact. Although I have to say that if you look at what happened during the SARS pandemic back in 2002, 2003, there was a destabilization environment for about a year, but after a year, things settled down.
All right.
So we have some
probably
hopes.
next year.
So we have somewhere to hope.
There's
Yes.
hope.
Something
There's
to
hope
hope for
here.
you.
All right. Well, thank
Really.
you for informing us
Thank you
what
so
all
much.
the Israelis were doing while we were stuck here in the studios.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting. All right. The southern city of Eilat is Israel's gorgeous window to the Red Sea, and it's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country for Israelis.
And luckily for us, it's time for YVT's Beautiful Faces of Israel segment, produced by the incredible Inon El Natan, and we're headed to Eilat now. Take a look.
This time, we are in Eilat, the resort town of Israel located in the south of the country on the Red Sea coast. Eilat offers a variety of entertainment attractions and hotels, and we're going to recommend you the best. Eilat is blessed with the most amazing and unique coral reef in the world, with an underwater marine observatory situated in the heart of the reef. The park offers its visitors a rare opportunity to enter the natural and abundant marine kingdom of the Red Sea, an unforgettable experience for both young and old. If you want to dive deeper into the depths of the Red Sea with the diving club, Marina Divers, known for the amazing professionalism and experience of diving in the Red Sea. For diving enthusiasts, we recommend a very suitable hotel. Blue Hotel Eilat, the signature hotel of the Reef Diving Group, offers a unique, homely atmosphere that appeals to anyone searching for a reasonably priced, good sleeping accommodation. The Blue Hotel is especially aimed at scuba divers, surfers, water sports enthusiasts, cyclists, and anyone seeking a pleasant atmosphere and in an inexpensive inn to rest for the night. Eilat also offers a varied culinary experience. We chose to recommend the best. The first is the Small Brazil restaurant located in the residential area of Eilat and offers a special local atmosphere that combines real Brazilian entertainment and a culinary experience of meats. also recommend Caesar Quality Hotel. It is suitable for families. Another hotel we would recommend is the Orchidaha Hotel, located on a mountain facing the sea and designed like a Thai village. Another recommendation for a hotel is the Reef Hotel, located on the beach, which offers a unique atmosphere of freedom.
God, isn't that gorgeous?
I know, I absolutely love Eilat, and just looking at those visuals makes me want to go this weekend.
Super
so
relaxing. It's a
might have a
wonderful
plan.
place to go and hang out. I'm a big fan, in case you couldn't figure it out. But in the meantime, for those of you who want to check out more videos like this about where to travel in the Holy Land, go to www.tbf-news.com and download the app Why Travel. We'll be back with more next week.
All right, now in other news, thousands of people from all over the world come to Israel every year to volunteer and intern in various fields. And some know very little about the country. They just don't really have any exact relationship. Now, 160 youth from all over the world have just arrived to work in hospitals, kindergartens, and even archaeological digs. And here to tell us more is 18-year-old Toby Tuchtenhagen. All right, my friend, so you were one of the volunteers in this program, and you are from Germany, right?
Yeah.
How did you end up in Israel?
Yeah, after school I tried to figure out what I wanted to study or what I wanted to do after school, maybe not studying, what I want to become, what I do,
Right.
like working stuff, yeah.
It's
that's
not.
why.
It's not that simple. So why did you choose to volunteer in Israel specifically?
First
How
off,
did that happen?
I'm really into historical things and so on. I love history, and yeah, because in Israel so many ethnic groups and kind of historical things happened and come together in this time. I decided to come here,
Well, yeah,
and
it
it's very
certainly
interesting.
is the
so-
place to go if you want to learn a
Yeah,
little bit about our
History,
history.
archaeology, history is definitely a place to be.
Yeah.
Are you
that's-
enjoying it? What do you think of Israel? Is it what you expected?
I expected nothing, so I don't get disappointed.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
a good way of looking.
And Tel Aviv is like very European, so I'm very into it. But also the other parts of the countries are great. So we traveled a lot, and yeah, that's.
And
I
how
feel.
long are you going to be here? How long have you been here so far?
6 months now, and I really got very fast into it because it's like home.
You're learning
You've been-
Hebrew,
Certainly,
you're learning
and-
Hebrew and getting in with the locals, all that?
Can I do?
Can.
Come on. So you've been here 6 months already, and how much longer do you have?
6 months, yeah.
Wow.
So half year.
That's an incredible program.
Wow. All right. Good for you, man.
Well, I'm envious. It's a very cool program.
Well, I think
you
it's
very
also
much.
so important
Yeah.
that you're having an experience
Yes.
like this, an opportunity to go to a place that you probably wouldn't
Of
go
course,
otherwise.
growing
right?
up, like I'm 18, growing up with this opportunity is great. So
All right.
getting
You
yourself.
think you're
glad
going to
you're
stay
here.
for longer afterwards?
Yeah, maybe, of course, I hope so, but you never know in life. So I'm very flexible and open-minded to that.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us,
for
Toby,
coming
today.
and volunteering here as well.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, let us look at the weather forecast. Tonight and tomorrow are both expected to be mostly clear and sunny, and with a slight rise in temperatures tonight. The low will be around 52 or 12 degrees Celsius, and then tomorrow you can expect a high of about 77 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 degrees Celsius. And now before we go, let's take a look at what's going viral in Israel. Is that a guy who is windsurfing?
That is a windsurfer who just got carried way too far.
Oh, how is he going? How is he actually that high?
That's terrifying.
Okay, so windsurfing is a very popular sport here in Israel. You typically do not fly that high, but this We need to meet this guy and understand how that happened.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
All right. That's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.46 shekels to the American dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube and Roku TV pages. I'm Aaron Porras.
And I'm Natasha Kirchak. Thanks so much for watching.